President Trump has the coronavirus relief bill in Florida, but it is not clear if he will sign it or veto it. Unemployment benefits will run out for millions of Americans on Saturday as pandemic-related programs are also set to expire. CBS's Naomi Ruckham has the latest.
A very Merry Christmas.
The President and First Lady addressed the COVID crisis in a tweeted Christmas message.
We are delivering millions of doses of a safe and effective vaccine that will soon end this terrible pandemic.
Earlier, House Democrats' effort to increase stimulus payments from $600 to $2,000 was blocked Thursday morning by the Republicans.
$600 is certainly not enough for individuals who have been struggling these past 7 months.
The move came days after President Trump put the fate of the COVID relief bill in jeopardy by demanding higher payments after Congress passed it.
I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple.
The package is attached to a larger spending bill, and without action from the president or Congress, the government could face a shutdown Monday at midnight.
I hope the president looks at this again and reaches that conclusion that the best thing to do is to sign the bill.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced lawmakers will return Monday to vote on a standalone bill to increase the stimulus payments. They'll also try to override the president's veto of an essential defense bill.
All right, for more, I want to bring in CBSN political contributor Zeke Miller. He's a White House reporter for the Associated Press. Zeke, happy holidays. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this holiday. We know President Trump is spending the Christmas holiday in Florida at his Mar-a-Lago resort. He's been spotted on the golf course. How has he given any indication on where things stand for either signing or vetoing the COVID-19 package?
Well, we do know that the bill made its way to Mar-a-Lago last night. It's more than 5,000 pages long. It had to be physically transported down to Florida from Palm Beach. So that took a while. We know the president has it. We have not really gotten any clues yet from the president what he will do. Some senior officials that I've talked to over the last couple of days have said, one thing the president left out of that video that you just played a snippet of is he never said he was going to veto it. He didn't use that sort of that buzzword. He left himself a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of wiggle room. Certainly, some of these benefits are going to begin to expire really functionally on Sunday. So by then, you would expect to see the president try to make a decision one way or the other. It's clear by now, though, that Republicans are not going along with the president's demands. This isn't the president going to war with Democrats. This is the president going to war with his own party. And that is not the sort of thing that's going to be give him a whole lot of leverage with just under a month left in his term.
The president going to war with his own party, and so much hangs in the balance when it comes to this agreement, including a looming government shutdown, evictions for so many Americans, those desperately needed stimulus checks. It's a really critical time, clearly. The president isn't scheduled for any public events on Christmas. How is he spending the day with all of those things considered?
So far this morning, he's spotted at the golf course at his private golf club in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's how he spent yesterday, his first full day down in Florida as well. We have not seen him make phone calls or hold public events or really, we've seen the occasional tweet here and there, but we have not seen sort of any video messages or anything like that to the American people that that was filmed while he was down there. It's not really clear what he has been doing. To some officials that again have said that it's more of the same what he was doing in Washington before he left either. The president really wasn't engaged on these issues on this bill. He was sort of a spectator as Congress largely took the lead in negotiating this COVID relief and government funding package that he now has to decide whether or not to sign. He has not been working the phones on those issues right now and trying to sort of build consensus around $2,000 stimulus for that matter. This has been a president who's still keeping his own counsel, being very private, sort of still somewhat stewing over the result of the November 3rd election.
As the COVID relief bill is still being kind of tossed back and forth and hammered out, health officials are expecting a surge in cases due to Christmas gatherings. Has the CDC or the White House task force released any plans to keep the virus under control this season?
We have not seen very many detailed public releases from the coronavirus task force. We've seen the occasional guidance from public comments from members of that task force, the public health professionals, largely the doctors who've encouraged mask wearing and social distancing and minimizing travel. which is to be expected. But we have not seen anything along the lines of increased testing on the back end after we've seen millions of people get on airplanes over the last week or so. What should be done from a testing standpoint once they get back home. The public comments from the president especially have been sort of focused on the promise of the vaccine. But there's a long way to go in this country before everyone can get a vaccine. And the projections are for January. We've heard from some of the doctors that you've had on earlier today and otherwise. I mean, it's going to be a very scary January. And we've not seen that level of urgency in the parts of the communications from the president and some of his closest advisors.
Yeah, he has not been known to be the most vocal about acknowledging the sheer scale of this crisis and the risks involved. Lastly, Zeke, what do we know about how Vice President Mike Pence, President-elect Joe Biden, and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are all spending their holiday?
Vice President Mike Pence, they have not announced this, but according to FAA, temporary flight restrictions, you can tell that he is spending his Christmas holiday in Colorado. We've been told that Vice President-elect Harris is spending Christmas not traveling with her family, and that President-elect Joe Biden is with his immediate family in Wilmington, Delaware, where he also spent Thanksgiving in Rehoboth, just a couple 100 miles down the road. But he's basically been keeping to a very small nuclear family, trying to model the sort of behavior he would like to see the rest of the country deploy in these, hopefully, this sort of the waning days, but also some of the darkest days of this pandemic.
Leading by example. Well, we hope that they're all staying safe this holiday season. Zeke Miller, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.